Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I want to say good morning. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. It's where we discover financial news and commentary on a daily basis from a black perspective. So make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. I want to talk about an NBA prospect by the name of Jalen Green. Jalen Green is the number 3 prospect, according to the site I'm reading, 247 Sports. And he's basically going to do something that I find really interesting. He's going to actually skip college, and he's going to the NBA G League, I guess, which is a developmental league that they have. Initially, there were reports that he was going to make $125,000 a year, which is a pretty good salary. But actually, the latest reports show that he's going to make more than that. He's going to actually make $500,000 a year, and in addition to that, there are claims that he's going to get about $125,000 to go to college, to go to college whenever he wants, wherever he wants. And I thought that was really interesting. So it seems like there are a lot of players that are starting to do this. They're starting to go the route that the players were more easily able to go back in the day with Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett, which is basically going pro right away. And I think it's great. Let me just say this. When you look at this $500,000 deal that Jalen Green's getting, and he's also getting money to pay for college, this to me is really pretty much what I think the NCAA should have been doing all along. I guess they got so trapped in this whole illusion of amateurism that they couldn't actually do the right thing for the players, and so you got to the point where it became a lot like prohibition, or almost like when slaves were not allowed to be taught to read, in the sense that anybody caught doing the right thing for the athletes or giving them fair market value, the same way every other worker, every other employee in our society gets, would actually be punished for that. In fact, there are actually some assistant coaches, mostly black, because black people are the ones who take the fall for stuff like this. There are some assistant coaches who are actually on their way to prison or under federal indictment. I got to go look and see what the status of those cases are, but they're actually being prosecuted because they arrange for athletes and their families to get some of the money that the white guys are getting and that the universities are taking away. And so the system is incredibly corrupt. I think people are getting that. I know in California, they just passed a law allowing athletes to be paid. The NCAA was pretty upset about it. They tried to pressure them into changing the law back, but they didn't fold. So I think a lot of other states are going to start doing the same thing, which is a little bit more justice for the athlete. But the truest justice actually would be just letting the fair market work. The same way a coach can come to a university and make all kinds of money, athletes should be able to do the same. So, my argument has been, that you shouldn't be hypocritical. You shouldn't be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You shouldn't be schizophrenic about it. You should just say either we're completely amateur, which means nobody gets paid, right? Or maybe coaches make a couple $100,000 a year, nothing more, or we're completely professional where everybody gets paid. So there's a lot of racial issues with the NCAA, given that most of the big checks are collected by the white guys and most of the labor is being done by the black guys. There is an educational issue. As a college professor on major campuses that had athletic programs, I can tell you that that sports really interfered with the ability of the athletes to really get the education they deserved. It was very frustrating for me to have athletes in my class because they were always busy doing something for sports. They were more busy than the regular undergrads. It was frustrating. I remember tutoring when I was in grad school. I remember tutoring some athletes, and they didn't have time to study. They were too tired. They were always working to maintain their professional sports job of playing, for the university. And so there's the racial issue, there's the educational issue, and then there's the obvious financial issue where, I bet over time the NCAA's taken at least $100 billion in wealth out of the black community by extracting its athletes and not compensating them fairly. And then on top of that, not only is it extracting your athletes, but it's giving them brain damage and things like that. So they're destroying your black men, and they're sending them back to you in scraps. They're sending them back to you without knowing how to read. A lot of them, they're sending you back with them having brain damage to the point where they're committing violent crimes. A lot of times against women because they're not right in the head anymore. And so it's really. When you really break below the surface of it, it's an incredibly crazy, corrupt system and situation. So I support what Jalen's Jalen's little deal is. I think $500,000 is fine. Now, mind you, he's worth millions, right? If he were getting paid in a fair market, he'd probably get $5, 10, 15 million a year. But $500,000, I'm not gonna feel sorry for somebody making $500,000 a year, even if you're not getting fair market value. I just don't feel bad for anybody that's going to be a millionaire. He's going to be fine. But what I like about the deal is that he gets a chance to have money, he gets a chance to take care of his family, and he also gets a chance to go to college. I've always said that if the system was really fair, if the NCAA system was really fair, because they always say, well, we're giving them free college. It doesn't cost them anything to give them a scholarship, because if I'm a teacher, and again, I'm a college professor, right? So when I taught at Syracuse and Ohio State and the University of Kentucky, if I'm already going to teach 45 students, it doesn't bother me to teach 46. You don't have to pay any more overhead. It's just one more butt in the seat, so it doesn't cost anything. So what I like how they sorted out the educational opportunity and the economic opportunity. They could have did this 30 years ago. They just didn't want to do it for various reasons, racial and otherwise. And it's not just the NCAA. It's a conspiracy. It's a RICO charge again in terms of white supremacist systems, where you've got the NBA basically in cahoots with the NCAA, which is also in cahoots with the government to oppress black people and black men in particular, to extract the wealth out of the black community without giving anything back. So that's what you're really seeing. You're really seeing a coordinated, strategic effort to engage in a massive amount of organized crime, because these sorts of monopolies and oligopolies and cartels are not allowed to exist in other areas of economic activity throughout the United States. So the fact that they were allowed to collude and to restrict athlete compensation that way, that was a tragic crime against the black community, because we're the greatest suppliers of that labor, and I think it's an absolute farce. Anyway, I just wanted to share this story with you and to say that I think it's great that this brother got this deal. Hopefully they'll be signing, thousands or maybe the top, I don't know. I'd be happy if they were able to, the G League was able to sign, say, the top 200 NCAA recruits every year, and then let the NCAA have the scraps. Let them have the guys that that nobody wants. That maybe that's a better deal. I don't know. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. If you haven't learned to buy your first share of stock, there's a free stock market training I put together that you can take a look at firstshareofstock.com. That's firstshareofstock.com. And I agree with you, Duran. I hope that this is the start of something special. And I also want to make sure I say hello to El Haj, and I see Strange Clouds and Christopher Brown and Fiber Lash Fiva and all of it, Dietrich and everybody that came in to talk to me this morning. I appreciate you and I love you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Take care. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr Boyce TV. Here we are.